Aloha everyone, and welcome to this semester of Biology and Society, so Bio 101. I am your instructor, Dr. Virginia Schweiss. I have been teaching at West Oahu since 2019, and I am excited to have you as a student in this class this semester. This is our introduction lecture, so I'll be going over everything that you need to know before we get started with this course. The first thing that I want to cover is our icebreaker class assignment. So this is an assignment for the class. If we were in person, this wouldn't be an assignment, and we would just all be in the classroom doing that lovely first day introduction, right? When I was a student, I dreaded these. And I learned once I became a professor that really these icebreakers are just as much for the professor as they are the students. And even though it's a little bit intimidating if you're an introvert like myself, it's a good way to get to know people. So even though we're in this online asynchronous learning environment, this is a good way for you to learn more about the students in the class by reading through this discussion that is on Lammaku. So sorry, I'm still getting used to kind of changing over to Lammaku. But this assignment is going to be worth 25 points. You're going to answer the following in the discussions tab on Lammaku. So this is a icebreaker class assignment. You'll find that. You'll click on that discussion, and you're going to say your name, your year in school, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, etc. What is your major? So you all are not probably going to be science majors, right? So you may actually get to meet somebody that has the same major as you that you haven't met yet. I also want to know why you decided to take this course. So if it's just because it's a requirement, that's great. But why? Because you had options for this particular requirement towards your degree. Why did you choose biology and society versus the other options? And then finally, an interesting fact about yourself. These tend to be the most fun thing for everyone to read, right? So try to make it really interesting, something that people may not know about you. So again, this is, if you click on discussions in Lammaku, also, if you've been on Lammaku, you can see that there are weeks. So week 1, week 2, week 3, each of those modules. So this is also embedded in the week 1 module as well. I'll also go ahead and put it in that orientation module too. So you'll find it multiple places on Lammaku. In regards to our textbook, we do have a required e-text for this course. And we will be using the Macmillan Learning Achieve platform along with this e-text. So you find the e-text by going to Achieve. So this is our particular e-text. It's Biology for a Changing World. I really love this e-text because it really does a great job of trying to make biology interesting for non-biology majors. But it still has a lot of good details, still very relevant content that you would find in a biology course for majors. It just kind of takes it and makes it much more interesting, takes out some of the more nitty-gritty details that you don't need as a non-bio major, but it's just a really great textbook. I really do like it. The e-text is included with the Achieve Access. So it's one IDAP fee. You have been charged that IDAP fee. You do have the option to opt out of it, just like you do for all of your IDAPs if you have them for other courses this semester. Before you do that, please contact me though, because this is part of the necessary requirements for this course. But if you're at a place where you're like, I literally cannot afford this, email me and we'll discuss different options. We'll try to find a way to get that, try to figure out what we can do exactly. This Achieve, the Macmillan Achieve, it's really cool because it didn't integrate with our old LMS, which was the Lima, but it does integrate with Lammaku. So The way that you are going to access Achieve is not by going to the Macmillan site, not by going to the Achieve site. You are going to access Achieve through Lamaku. Please do not do anything else. Please do not go to the bookstore and buy a code. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is go onto Lamaku, and there are different modules, as I talked about, the week one module, 2, 3, 4, etc. There is also a specific Macmillan module. So you will go and click on that module. Then when that opens, you will see something called Macmillan LTI or Macmillan. You'll want to click on that. And when that pops up, you'll see the top option says Achieve. And it says access your Achieve assignments or Achieve homepage. So click on that. And like magic, once you have kind of gone through this process, you should find our Achieve homepage. And on that Achieve homepage, you'll find some different things. On the side, you'll see where you can access your e-text. And in addition, you'll see your different assignments, and you can sort those assignments by your homework assignments, your reading assignments. So I assign the reading to you every week. It's not worth points, but I really do expect you to actually read it. You're paying for the software, this e-text option, so please use it. It really is not that long, and it's interesting. And then you can also find quizzes. You can find study guides that it's not like it gives you all the answers, but the study guides themselves kind of help you prepare for the exam. So I really do like this learning system. I hope that you enjoy it too. Please provide me with feedback as we go through. I'm going to start by doing like homework and quizzes, and then kind of move into adaptive quizzes, which are kind of like a gaming option through the software. But I kind of wait a couple weeks just to kind of, or really I just wait a week before I go into that, because I just want to let you get your feet wet a little bit with the class content first. In terms of lectures, we will not be meeting obviously in person. We won't be meeting on Zoom for the lectures. What I do is what you're seeing right now. So I actually go and I film these lectures, and then I render them to become YouTube videos that I embed onto Lamaku in the weekly modules. You also have slides in PDF format that you can follow along with. However, if you just use those slides and you don't watch the lectures, you're going to miss a lot of the content. So make sure that you actually watch the lectures. You'll also notice that there is a playlist on YouTube that I'm probably not going to get them recorded more than like a week ahead. So I'll go ahead and put the YouTube videos in that playlist as well, so you can access it via that YouTube playlist too if you aren't able to get on Lamaku for some reason. I've had students in the past say, oh, these video lectures for your different courses are long, like they're 45 minutes to an hour. That's a long time. How long do you sit and lecture when you're in the classroom? An hour? So 50 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes, depending on if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday class, right? Like, these lectures are no longer than what you would be encountering in the classroom. What's cool about these lectures, though, is they're on YouTube, right? So you can watch them when it fits your schedule. Say you only have 10 minutes, watch the first 10 minutes of the lecture and go do whatever you need to do. Come back, watch 10 more minutes. Like maybe, I know a lot of people that have just a hard time concentrating for that long of a period of time. Break it up to fit your needs. Or maybe you have a super busy schedule. I've noticed a lot of my students that take online courses have maybe kids of their own, maybe a really big family with siblings that they're helping, or maybe they're helping take care of their grandparents or aunties or somebody. That's okay. That's why I try to make this really easy to fit into your schedule. Just please watch the lectures. However you need to do it. If you need to break them up into 5-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute increments, do it that way. Just make it work for you. So here is what you're probably most interested in. This is your coursework and grading. So how are you going to get your grade for BIOL 101? You have homework and quizzes on Achieve. Again, you access that by a LAMIQ, and I tell you in the weekly module page what homework and quizzes you have on Achieve for that week to make it really simple. We also have probably what I think is the coolest part of this course, or one of the coolest parts, which is service learning assignments. You'll have 2 of these. You can do an optional 3rd one of these, and I'll talk more about these in a little bit, but they're ways for you to volunteer on island, just kind of to give back to the community, be more exposed to the biology that's going on all around you, and see how it kind of fits into your everyday life. We also have class activities. These are just homework assignments that you find on LAMIQ. I'll talk more about these in a bit as well. I'll also talk about your Kuleana final paper, which really it's a final paper, but you write it as the semester goes along, so it's not as burdening as it may sound. And we have 4 exams throughout the semester that will be online. They will be timed, and you should be taking them without using any resources. That's why they are timed, so that you don't have the ability to look up every single answer. However, if you watch the lectures, you do the homework and quizzes, they should be pretty straightforward exams, nothing to get too stressed about. So you can see how this breaks down. 20% of your grade comes from Achieve, 20% comes from that service learning, those service learning assignments, 20% from your class activities. The Kuleana final paper is 20% of your grade. The exams altogether, 20% of your grade, giving you 100% in the class, right? So even if you don't do very good at exams, but you do all the rest of this, then you can still do pretty well in the course, right? So we're going to walk through some of these different assessment types in the following slides. So the first assessment that you just saw on that table is the homework and quizzes on Achieve. So these are found on the Achieve site. You're going to have homework and a quiz probably for each chapter. That's how I'm going to start out. I am probably going to switch, like I said, to the adaptive quizzes after the first couple of chapters. It's kind of a gaming quiz. The more answers you get right, the closer you get to finishing, right? And you get a set number of points. You can take those as many times as you want to get the full credit. I'm going to do the same thing with the homework and quizzes. I'm going to allow you to take those over and over again to get full credit if you want. I just want to make sure that you're at least doing them. If you have to take it 10 times, then that probably tells you that you don't understand the material, and you might want to study, but at least you're taking it, right? At least you're trying. These are, like I said, very easy points. You can get full credit on these. Just trying to reinforce that lecture material. These are going to be due, I make the due date for everything on Sunday nights at 11:59 p.m. with the exception of exams. Some exams will be due at different times. But everything else, your homeworks, your quizzes, your service learning, all of that is going to be due on Sunday night. And then we start the next module on Monday. So I make it simple. I try not to, even though you should be watching one lecture at the start of the week, one at the second part of the week, I make the due dates for everything on one day, one time, just to make it simple each week. Because I know you have a lot of other classes to keep track of, a lot of other things going on in your life. Try to make it as simple as possible. So like I said, we also have these service learning assignments that I really love. These allow you to get out in the community and volunteer, learn more about this beautiful, amazing island that we call home. You must do a total of 2 of these, but you can do 3 for extra credit. It gives you 20 points extra credit on the final exam. So you go out. Generally, most of these you're going to have to sign up for, and I'll make the service learning assignment, and it'll have a PDF showing you some of the different options that I found for you with actual links you can click on to sign up for the activities, and it'll give you the dates, the times. You'll do the activity after you sign up for it. Go and do the activity. It's maybe like 2 to 3 hours of your time. And then you have to submit a paragraph talking about what you learned at that event, how it relates to biological concepts that we're learning about in class, and what exactly did you do that day. Like, were you tasked with removing invasive pine trees? Were you tasked with helping to restore a fish pond? Like, what role did you play in that? There are multiple different options. So here's one organization, OISC. This is the Oahu Invasive Species Committee. You can see they have multiple volunteer options. This is a really good option. I encourage you to look into that, see if any of those dates fit your schedule. There are also some fish pond restoration options that'll be on that PDF. A beach cleanup, there are some of these that are led by organizations, or you can do a beach cleanup by yourself. If you do that, I do ask you to take pictures of that event, kind of keep track of what trash you collect. I also would love for you to take pictures of whatever event you do and include it in that assignment to show that, yes, you actually did that event. Plus, they're cool pictures to have to look back on. There's also a UH West Oahu garden. There are some work days there. I'll try to get a hold of the person in charge of that and let you know those exact days, or if any of you have volunteered there before and already know when those work days are going to be, if you want to let me know, that would be great. But again, there will be a PDF that is attached to the assignment, the service learning assignment. You'll have service learning assignment number 1, service learning assignment number 2, and then if you decide to do an extra credit one, you can just email that to me. You have the entire semester to do these service learning assignments. I make them due the week before finals. So it's not like one is due at the start or halfway in between. They're both due right before finals week. Just try not to put them off, because you'll see some of these dates tend to be, there's like 1 or 2 each month for the different organizations. So if you put it off till the end, you're not going to have as much flexibility. There's also like weed warriors, some other options. I know in the past some students have said, hey, I really can't do anything on the weekend. There also are some that are like weeknights. And so if you need help finding something to do, email me. Please don't just not turn anything in and then tell me after the class has ended that, hey, this was horrible because nothing worked with my schedule. No, please email me. I will help you find something to work with your schedule. If you do something else that you think would qualify for service learning, please email me for approval. Don't just assume that it works. Remember, service learning is included in this course to enhance your learning experience and to allow you to connect biological concepts to some form of service. So this means that service projects with no biological connection, they're not going to be approved, right? Because this is a biology course. So make sure that you approve other events that I haven't given you as options through me before you just assume that they work. But I really think I have yet to hear negative feedback from students in terms of these service learning requirements. Always when I read these paragraphs, some students even write more than a page on them because they enjoy it so much. Some students learn, like I had no clue that this organization even existed on the island. Like, I was talking to my auntie about it, and they were so excited that I was doing this volunteer option because it related to something that they did. It's just a really cool thing that you might actually find connects you to your culture, connects you to other family members that you didn't even realize this opportunity existed. So along with the homework assignments and quizzes that you have on Achieve, we also have class activities. You'll find those as assignments on Lamaku. They'll be in your weekly modules as well. So you'll have links to them to access that assignment. Usually you open that assignments page and it says, please use this attachment to complete this class activity. These are activities to further reinforce the lecture material, and they can be done in groups. I really encourage group work. You can be in groups of 2 to 4 and just submit one assignment for that group. Make sure everybody's name is on that assignment. If you can work in groups, I encourage it. However, I know some people like to, especially in an online environment, not work in groups, so I don't make it mandatory. And just like your Achieve assignments, these are due every Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. Then we have our final paper. I put or presentation because you can, if you decide to do like a PowerPoint or a video, like you'd have to get approval from me. I've had people like do their film majors, and so they've done a video of them like talking through. It's a lengthy video, obviously, because this is intended to be about 3 to 4 pages, double spaced and 12-point font. So if you decide to do something other than a paper, please get approval first. This will be submitted at the end of the course. Kuleana, your Kuleana is your responsibility, right? It's a reciprocal relationship between the person who is responsible, which is you, and what you are responsible for. And throughout this course, we're going to focus on many like introductory biological concepts. And the goal is that you leave this course understanding your Kuleana to your personal health, your family, the land, the environment in general, just based on what you've learned in this class. So similar to how the course is designed, you're going to kind of elaborate on this overarching theme for what you consider to be your Kuleana. And you're going to discuss how something in each of the units, so we have 4 units in this course. I'll show you kind of the topics in the 4 units at the end of this intro lecture. But you're going to, for each unit, kind of figure out what you think, how that relates to your overall Kuleana. So what you think your responsibility is. So you relate each unit to your life and your responsibility using examples. So Kuleana papers allow students to have the chance to kind of reinforce what they learned throughout the coursework. You can bring in those service learning experiences, your personal experiences. These Kuleana papers focus on your personal feelings and experiences, but they often are going to require sources and use of examples that you heard in class. So this is a paper that is meant to show that you understand the concepts in biology, and it allows you to kind of use your personal experience and kind of fit it into your life. So maybe you decide that your Kuleana is to take better care of yours and your family's health because you learned about, just throwing an example in from chapter 1, because I just kind of was reading through that chapter with cell phone usage and how cell phones can potentially cause cancer. So maybe you decide that your Kuleana is to take better care of yours and your family's health. And from Unit 1, you learned about the cell phones. From Unit 2, maybe you learned about some toxin that you're going to try to avoid. I'm just throwing these out there. Totally don't actually work in the concept of the course. I'm just kind of throwing this out there as an example. And maybe Unit 3, you learned about plastics being in a lot of the things that we eat. So trying to avoid things that are packaged in plastic. And then maybe Unit 4, learning about the sun's harmful UV rays, trying to do a better job of protecting your skin. So just, again, throwing those out there. Those don't actually work into the context of those different units, but that's one example you could go with. You could also go with your Kuleana is to do a better job of using less energy. Your Kuleana is to do a better job of being a steward of the land that you live on, trying to stand up for some destructive processes that might be occurring. So there's a lot of different examples. I give you kind of, if you look at the Kuleana assignment, you'll see, like I help you through it a little bit. So you'll see some attachments attached to that assignment that kind of walk you through kind of what I'm expecting for this paper, gives you kind of a starting format for what you should do. I do highly encourage you though, each unit, take some notes. Maybe it's like a Word document that you save on your computer and you put Unit 1, this is what stood out to me. Unit 2, this is what stood out to me. And then you can take those little blurbs and put them together for this final paper that's due at the end of the class. And if you have any questions on this, please feel free to contact me, or we can talk about that at office hours as well. Then, of course, as with most courses, we do have exams. Again, if you watch the lectures and you do the homework, these shouldn't be too taxing. These are going to be kind of multiple choice, true, false questions, short answers potentially. They are online and timed, and you must take them on the scheduled exam days. So it's not that I just give you a day and a 2-hour time frame that you have to take the exam. I give you a couple of days, and I tell you via email, I tell you on Lamaku what days those are. I give you reminder emails, but I am very strict about my exam policy. If the time to take that exam has elapsed and you do not have a university-approved excuse, I can't allow you to take that exam, because I have it set in the settings where you're going to get feedback for your exams. You see the correct answers at that exam end date. So it is not fair to your peers. If you let me know ahead of time, like, hey, I have this scheduling conflict, that's perfect. We'll work something else out. But if you just don't take the exam and then expect to be able to take the exam a couple days later or a week later, that's not fair to your peers. If you're sick, but maybe you didn't go to the doctor, let me know ahead of time that you're sick. I am very understanding if you reach out to me via email. If you don't communicate with me though, I can't help you. I am literally an email away. I have set office hours every week. I am available for additional office hours if you contact me. So I make it as simple as possible to contact me. So please do let me know if you have some type of conflict. Again, I have a strict exam policy. Everything else in the course, if you contact me and try to submit something late, I'll say, okay, sure, no problem. Exams, I'm not flexible with though, because it is, you get those answers, your peers had to take them at a specific time, so why shouldn't you have to do that as well? It's just not fair. You do have study guides available on Achieve for each chapter. It's not that it tells you exactly what's on the exam, it just kind of gives you the key concepts that were covered in that chapter and kind of helps you like just make sure you understand that content before you go to take the exam. So again, please contact me whenever you have questions or concerns. If something's confusing, let me know ahead of time. Biology is a complex course, right? It's a lot of people find science hard. So please let me know if you need help. You have my email. You even have my phone number. If for some reason, say you're taking the exam and the exam just like doesn't work, or it's not open when it's supposed to be open, or something's wrong, that's when you'd call me, right? If you are having other issues or you need just extra help, I would prefer you email or text me. Preferably email. Please reserve the phone for just like an emergency situation. I also have virtual office hours whenever you request them. I have office hours that are posted on the syllabus and on Lamaku. I'll put them in your welcome email as well. So those are set office hours that I have every single week. I'll also be available for virtual office hours whenever requested too. And one thing that I always do, I don't think I mentioned this yet in the intro lecture, is I send out a weekly email every single Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. So you will hear from me every week, whether you want to or not. And in that weekly email, I just say, hey, here's what we're going to cover in week 1. Here is your to-do list. Make sure you do everything on this to-do list. So you'll be able to find everything on Lamaku in that weekly module, but I also send you that email because students have told me in the past that's helpful. It's helpful to keep them on track. They see that email and they're like, oh, we're starting another week. I better check out and see what I need to do this week. So you'll get that email every week as well to kind of keep you on schedule with the course. So how do you become successful in this course? How do you get an A or a B or just that passing grade that you need to, check this off as one of those requirements towards graduation? Watch the lectures. I can't emphasize this enough. I'm able to see on YouTube Studio how many people are watching the lectures, how many people are watching them all the way through. Please watch them. Take notes during the lectures. Don't just have them playing while you're making dinner or watching something else. Actually pay attention, try to take notes. Complete the homework and class assignments on time, and contact me if you fall behind. I am very understanding. People get sick. People have emergencies come up. People have travel. I get it. I worked multiple jobs. As an undergraduate, I was a student athlete. I had a lot of things going on. I get it. I'm very understanding. Just contact me, and we'll figure out how to get you back on track with the class. Here you see the different topics we're going to cover. So as I mentioned, we have 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For each one of these, you can see kind of the different topics we're going to cover. We kind of skip around a little bit in the textbook. You'll notice that. We cover chapter 1 first, and then we move to chapter 20 because we cover all the ecology stuff first, and then you have your unit 1 exam. Then we cover chemistry, nutrition, energy and photosynthesis, cellular respiration. And then we have an exam on that. Then we get into cool things like mutations and cell division, inheritance, cancer, and we have an exam on that. And then our last unit, we talk about natural selection, the theory of evolution, different types of life on Earth, human evolution, and we have an exam on that. So we have these 4 different units, and that's back when I was talking about the Kuleana paper. Try to take notes for each one of these, in just a Word document, how you think your Kuleana, your responsibility, can relate to each unit. And then when you go to write that final paper, it'll be a lot simpler to kind of put that together if you're taking notes on that throughout the course instead of saving it for the last minute. That is all that I have for this introduction lecture. I tried to keep it short as possible because you do have 2 lectures already to watch for this week. But please reach out to me if you have any questions. If you're new to the LMS that we have now, Lamaku, if you're having any issues with Achieve, let me know. And mahalo for watching.